And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may need it. 813-750-0550 is our hotline.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Call or text the hotline 813-750-0550. And, of course, visit consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. We want to help you win, as we say, in any marketplace. And we've got a great lineup for you today here on the show. Coming up later, we've got Brandon Faust, Mold Zero. Talk about mold, which is a silent killer a lot of times in real estate properties, and it gets into the health system of the human body. Shane Socash in studio as well. He's the owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. We're going to talk about alternative investment opportunities. Of course, local jeweler right here in Tampa Bay in St. Petersburg, Pinellas County. And on the line as well, we're going to have John Long. He's the executive director based right here in Tampa for the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. So we got a great lineup for you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to make sure you save our hotline, reach out. Had a lot of folks reaching out last week for information about credit improvement, real estate, of course, looking to get pre-approved through a mortgage through Diane Vance, and all of our other 50-plus categories here of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Introductions to attorneys. We've got lots of attorneys associated with the show. So we want to be that consumer advocate and put you in touch with local area business owners and business executives here. The absolute most important thing you can do right now is support local companies, local economy here in Tampa Bay. So we greatly appreciate you supporting our show. Shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. It's the science of nutritional balance. So we all want to feel energized and hydrated and replenished. So I love visiting my friends Steve and Elisa Gunnan. They've got multiple locations here in Tampa Bay, but I go in and the nurse hooks me up with the vitamin infusion drip directly into my bloodstream, filled with all types of great vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, and all the good stuff. I kind of just walk in and tell them to juice me up. You know, they take care of me. So Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And as a top realtor in Tampa Bay, I'm a top 1% realtor out of 25,000 realtors. My wife Lindsay and I rank in the top 200. So we have a hot listing here in Tampa Bay. I want to let you know about this property at 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is a gorgeous beach property on the north side of the beach. Now, what I love about this property is you've got a separate income opportunity. You can rent out this apartment that's attached to it right next door, separate entrance and everything. 1010 Bay Esplanade, also a third-story apartment on the beach, Millionaires Row. Hulk Hogan lives over there, a lot of different celebrities, etc. 1010 Bay Esplanade. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we're going to go to the phone line here. John Long, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, you are the executive director for a local nonprofit, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. And could you give us a brief overview of what you guys do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so our ultimate goal, and it's a big goal, but we know that it's something that we have to aim for, is to end human trafficking. And oftentimes when we talk about human trafficking, it's something that we think about over in another country. It's across our borders. It's not happening within our country or within our backyards. But we know that the research shows that trafficking is happening within the state of Florida, within Tampa Bay. In fact, Florida is the number 3 state in the nation as far as reports of human trafficking. And so our Institute Against Human Trafficking was created to help fight that demand, to make communities aware of what trafficking looks like.
Wow.
And what to do if you identify somebody who may be a trafficking victim or somebody who's a pimp or a trafficker or somebody who's paying for sex. And not only do we fight the demand, but we also have some victim advocacy programs where we serve minor male victims of trafficking, which is often a forgotten population because we don't typically think of the boy being the victim. But we also have a safe home dedicated to protecting these boys who have been victims of sex trafficking in Florida.
Yeah, it's so challenging too. When you look at the national landscape, we try to stay away from politics and stuff. But when you look at cancel culture and things happening, in the city of Baltimore, for example, they just either there's a bill set forth that's going to allow for it, or some type of amendment. But they're legalizing prostitution in the city of Baltimore, and they're also legalizing minor low-level crimes such as heroin and drug paraphernalia. So you think about that, and then some people say that the libertarian would say, well, that's two consenting adults, a prostitute and what do they call a John? I guess they call that, right? But is it really, right? These people are sold. A lot of times they're drugged up. They're enslaved through prostitution. And unfortunately, there's not many. I'm speaking out of turn. I don't know. But it seems like there's more for than there are against, like the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking.
Absolutely. We have that. We have to change that narrative where we think that everyone who's involved in prostitution or everyone who's involved in sex trafficking is a willing participant. Oftentimes we look at that, and it's often said that it's a victimless crime, that these women or these children are involved in prostitution or having sex because they want to be part of that. And we know, as we talk to survivors right here in our own backyard on Nebraska Avenue, throughout Tampa and throughout the state of Florida, we know that a large percentage of those people that are being sold for sex are not willing participants. It's not a victimless crime. There are some countries that have made it legal, and what they have found is they have discovered there's more harms than they thought would come, that things that they didn't know that were going to happen started happening, and the benefits they thought they were going to see, they never saw. And so legalizing prostitution isn't the answer to fight this. And so what we really have to do is we have to educate the community on the harm that's being done to these men and women and these children that are being sold for sex. Imagine that you're a teenage boy or a teenage girl, and you're being sold for sex against your will up to 10, 15 times a day.
Yeah.
And that's what the average survivor is reporting, that they're being sold that many times. And it's not something they can just walk away from. There's oftentimes somebody controlling their money, controlling their identification cards. They're typically maybe not from this neighborhood. They've been brought across a state border.
Yep.
So it's not just easy enough to say, well, I want out of this lifestyle, I'm going to walk out. What we have to do, and what the U.S. Institute Against Human Trafficking is dedicated to doing, is helping those people get out and get connected with resources that can help them live a different lifestyle than what they're being forced to live right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's modern day slavery, and you look at, there's all this outrage now, and there's even talk of reparations and things like that, for what happened generations ago. But there's modern day slavery happening right now, especially even at the southern border. By the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with John Long, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. John is the local Tampa executive director here, based in Tampa Bay. But let's talk about that. This non-existent crisis at the southern border. It's night and day, like when Trump left office and how it switched. You got all these folks pouring through. We're emboldening and we're enriching the Mexican drug cartels, who are also the same people trafficking children. They're dropping children over the fence. If you've seen that video, 14-foot tall fence, they're dropping the child down so he can be on American soil. Talk about how that affects your business or your nonprofit.
Absolutely. And we know, like you said, it's modern day slavery. Right now, more than any other time in history, there are more people that are trapped in slavery than any other time in our history as a nation or as a world.
Wow.
So worldwide, we're looking at 40 to 45 million people that are trapped within this kind of slavery of sex trafficking or labor trafficking. And when we look at the southern border, and it's not a political conversation, it's a humanitarian conversation.
Exactly.
We've got people that are the borders are being flooded with people, and it's hard to identify if those people are here willingly, if they're being forced across this border. And when we're talking 5,000, 6,000 children that are being separated or are coming by themselves, how do we process those kids to make sure that they're coming with a true family member, or if they're being part of what they call coyotes, people that are trafficking these kids from one country into our country?
That's right.
It's really hard to determine because oftentimes, again, a trafficker doesn't know, a victim of trafficking doesn't always know they're being trafficked because they don't know what human trafficking is. They've been told that this is what they have to do. And so, to go back to the drug state, we know that these people are being drugged because it's a lifestyle that nobody really wants to be part of. And so they oftentimes become substance abuse users. And so at the border, what they're trying to do now is they're trying to do DNA tests, specifically on juveniles, DNA tests to prove that they are related to the individual that's bringing them across the border. We know that the border is large, and it's impossible for Border Control to parole that whole border. So we know people are being thrown over the fence. We know people are being smuggled in. And so we are fearful that we're going to see trafficking, and it's not going to be Texas's problem. It's going to be our nation's problem because those people will then be moved throughout our nation. We know the number one area is California. Texas is number 2, and then Florida is number 3. So we expect to see an influx in human trafficking victims coming into our state because they're crossing that border and they're moving them to these destinations that are high in individuals that are willing to pay for sex.
Yeah, exactly. And also MS-13 gang members are moving fluidly into Hillsborough County, into Pinellas County. We've heard that through some of the different conversations we've had. The Hillsborough County Sheriff, Pinellas County Sheriff on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We also talked to a lot as Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy. He's our Second Amendment specialist, and he talks a lot about this uptick in gang violence that you're seeing it because you don't find it on the major news networks. They're not going to show that on TV because they want to boom the economy. They want hospitality industry to flourish. So they're not going to show all the gangs coming in to the Tampa Bay area.
Right, and we know MS-13 is a very violent gang. We know that they are a large gang. We also know that there's neighborhood hybrid gangs that are moving away from selling drugs to selling people. Because when they sell drugs, there's a high risk of being caught. If a police officer pulls somebody over and they've got drugs in their backseat, it's pretty easy to identify that those are drugs. However, if we got gang members that are shuffling women and children from one neighborhood to the next neighborhood and they get pulled over, it may look like a family that's just traveling somewhere.
Right.
And so it's a lot easier to get involved in human trafficking. In fact, human trafficking as a crime will soon overtake the drug sales because it is a renewable source. Like I said, they can be sold 10 to 15 times a day. And in the drug world, if you sell a pound of something, you've got to go find another pound. And so the human trafficking is quickly rising within the gang world because it is a crime that is hard to detect, and it's something that can be sold over and over again.
Now, John, I know this is a kind of a little bit of a taboo type thing, but when you see the Epstein, that documentary on Epstein, and you see it in the news and stuff, are there high level people involved in this? And if so, obviously you look at the situation in some of the high level folks that are on the flight log with that, and then of course there's a lot of misinformation too on social media, different places, but. Being involved in this daily, what are you seeing on that front? I mean, do you think there's inside stuff happening like that?
Absolutely. We know it's happening.
Yeah.
We know it's happening. People call it the ivory towers. We know it's happening at the very top, but we also know that the pastor of a church may be involved in something like this. We also know the guy at the grocery store may be involved in something like this. And so it's not something, it's hard to define who a traffic or who somebody who's going to pay for sex or a buyer of sex is going to be because the demographics go across the spectrum.
Yeah.
But we do know that there are some high-profile individuals that are involved in it, and some people get stuck on that. They want to go after just the high-profile guy, and if we can get them, then everybody will stop. But we know that the only way to stop it is for the community to get educated on what trafficking is, and the U.S. Institute Against Human Trafficking provides a free training to individuals in the community on how to identify what trafficking is. They can declare themselves a trafficking-free zone, and then it educates them on what to look for and how to fight it within their backyard. The number one deterrent for people that are buying sex is the fear of getting caught or arrested. And so if the buyer feels like the neighborhood or the community knows what he is doing, then that is the number one deterrent to make them stop.
Yeah.
And so that's where we fight. It's a grassroots movement, and if we can start at the grassroots, we can get those big guys as well. but we can also start in our backyard.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, great stuff. Keep up the work out there. John Long, Executive Director for the Tampa Division of the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. Reach out to John and his team. John, how can folks get involved if they want to reach out? We have lots of listeners here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and they want to support the local economy, the local folks that are doing the good work, especially what you're doing, fighting the good fight. How can they get in touch?
Well, we are a local nonprofit organization that's in this fight, and you can go to our website. It's usiaht.org. There is a program on there called the Trafficking Free Zone, which again is the free training, and also there's an abolitionist program where we walk alongside people and businesses to fight trafficking within their sphere of influence. And so it's a hands-on way to get involved. We walk alongside you to become a trafficking free zone. We help businesses become trafficking-free zones, and help HR departments in recognizing and fighting trafficking within businesses.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thanks for all you're doing out there, and keep up the good work. And, of course, we'd love to have you back on as well, and of course, we'll be in touch with that. Thanks again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, my pleasure. All right. Wow, what a great group. John and his team over at United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. Check them out online, usiaht.org. Fighting the good fight right here in Tampa Bay. I love it. Coming up, Shane Socash, owner, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, right here in studio. We're going to talk about some really cool things happening. The conversation kind of sometimes evolves around precious metals, Bitcoin, the United States dollar, what's happening in those space, and what you can do about it, plus some great jewelry right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Stay with us. Coming up, Shane Socash here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day is a good one. 8-year-old hero receives thank you video from John Cena. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show with a market update. Pinellas County, latest data from the MLS, Multiple Listing Service data. As of February 2021, we have a reduction in inventory again. So we have a low inventory market already down, low records, 2562 in January, down in February, down to 2142. So that's residential listing units for sale in Pinellas County. Now, if we come down and we look at the sales are actually up. So there's an inverse relationship there. The sales are up in 2021. Sales for January 1615 and 1863 in February. So the sales are up. Inventory is down. It's a great time to be listing your real estate properties. Great time for a move-up buyer. Reach out to our hotline. We would love to talk to you about the market, about your equity in your home, and about how you can get the absolute highest sales price right now. 813-750-0550. Call or text our hotline, 813-750-0550. Also, check out the website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to our expert contributors, our real estate listings at consumerqb.com. And we would love to help you with your buying, selling, or investing right here in Tampa Bay. Brandon Rhymes, Real Estate Quarterback Show. Talk to you soon.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, or investing. platinummvpteam.kw.com. And we've got a hot listing here. This is a bar for sale. If you ever thought about owning your own nightclub / bar, 5402 US Highway 92 in Plant City, really just kind of the outskirts of Tampa, right there on the east side of Tampa, 5402 US Highway 92. We got a bar for sale, about 2,000 square feet. Now, it's got the 4 COP beverage license, which is really cool. So you can use that off premises. Let's say you're going to rent out some type of a hotel room or banquet room somewhere. You can take that with you and throw big parties. So pretty cool opportunity for the entrepreneur out there. And it's also a corner lot with a large space to grow. You could potentially build on to this property, 5402 US Highway 92, for sale in Plant City. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter and his team right here in Tampa Bay. They do a great job. Reach out to Veteran Gutters. You're talking about American-made products and someone who served our country, Brandon Porter, Veteran Gutters, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to them directly. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. If you ever thought about putting gutters on your home, Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter, they do a great job. Support your local economy right here in Tampa Bay. All right, Shane Socash, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, my friend.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks for coming in. So, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, great, another example of one of our local area expert contributors. And we talk a lot about these alternative investment opportunities. What are you seeing out there right now?
Still lots of metal moving.
Yeah.
We've seen kind of the metals retract a bit, and the premiums, the demand is still there. The supply is kind of drying up, and the premiums are going up. It just defies logic to see supply dry up, demand go up, and price go down. But people are buying.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because there's so many different things. I thought we might break down each type of metal and just maybe kind of look at different pros and cons of what you're saying. So first one comes to mind is gold.
Okay. Yeah, gold, the noble metal. It's $17.50 per troy ounce right now, running on the market. It had kind of tipped just over the $2,000 mark there for a bit. The premiums on it are higher than normal. I think when you add the premium, typically, say roughly $100, depending on what type of 1 ounce gold product you're buying, you add that to where it is. I think that's really a reflection of where spot should be, where the market should be. Again, with so much demand, so little supply, and oddly, the price still, going down. So
is gold for you like a buy now, or maybe wait and see?
Man,
hard to say.
If you believe they're printing money like they are,
I agree,
and that the dollar is going to retract at some point, man, I'll tell you, people way smarter than me are buying it every day.
Yeah.
Again, in the first 3 months of this year, we've done more business than we did in the first 10 months of 2018.
Right.
People are buying the metals and they believe it, and it defies logic when supply is up. Supply is down, demand is up, that the price would recede.
Wow. Yeah. And then you look at platinum is another precious metal.
Yeah, we talked about platinum a little bit the last time I was on, and I had kind of touched on the fact that platinum can do things other metals can't do. So it seems like industry has found a workaround for not using platinum, which has allowed platinum to drop in value below gold. But I'll tell you, having worked with metals my entire life, platinum has attributes no other metal has. I think industry will once again find a use for it.
Yeah, semiconductors, I hear, different computer parts, cell phones.
Yeah, I think potential for space is there too, because, platinum does this thing no other metal can do. You can heat it up, to 2,000 degrees roughly or 3,000 degrees roughly until it melts.
Yeah.
And pull the flame back off of it, and it's still shiny and white.
Wow. Awesome. Well, when we come back, more from Shane Socash here, owner David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, located right there in St. Petersburg, Pinellas County. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the precious metals, diamonds, and other opportunities, as well as our feel-good story of the day. Find out about this 8-year-old hero that received a thank you video from John Cena. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Five, four, three, two, one.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, or investing. Also, recruiting, looking for just one or two great buyer agents to work on our team. If you know of anybody in that space, have them reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline, 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line. Also, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available at consumerqb.com. All right, hot property listing here in Tampa Bay, 1602 East MLK. This is a commercial property, corner lot, Gill's Body Shop, available for sale. It's a business that's been in operation for 45 years, currently operating as a body shop and has been. So you've got the goodwill and going concern of the business for sale at 1602 East MLK, right here in Tampa, centrally located close to I-275. Gill's Body Shop is available, $499,000. Great buying opportunity. See all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Quick shout out to Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving. And whether you're planning a local or long distance cross country move, Brothers Easy Moving can handle that for you. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. They did a great job with my family's move to our new lake home. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Talk to Gary Thacker. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, in studio today, Shane Socash. He's the owner, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, here in studio. We're kind of talking about the different metals, precious metals. We talked about gold. We talked about platinum. Next up, silver.
Yeah. Silver is kind of the metal that's easy to get. It's affordable to all. Basically, anyone can afford an ounce or two of silver. We see lots of that at the store. People coming in, buying an ounce or two at a time, and over time building it up.
Now, earlier you mentioned troy ounce.
Yeah, so in the metals, in the precious metals industry, we've always used troy ounce, different than the household ounce. And it's what the market's based on. When you see the gold finish today at 1,700, basically it's based on 1 troy ounce of gold. And in the 70s, South Africa said, hey, we don't have any gold that weighs 1 ounce. We're going to create, and they created